Let's solve today's streams puzzle. Big open grid today. Looks like the blue is probably going to have to wrap very far around. Something about that could be off. I think the purple is going to come here. That does leave a question about what's happening with these cells. So maybe that is not correct. If we think about this for another second, can anything go in there? I don't think anything can actually enter there. So it either has to go through something like, whoops, something like here, and then something like that, or the purple has to go across. If we have it something in this pattern, this still becomes impossible. I liked the idea of that, but I'm not sure if that is going to be our solution. And nothing else is really going to be able to go through there. So it's either this or some strange pattern like I just showed. I'm going to go with this for now. Um, it does make this cell a little questionable because we can't just do something like this. So it does feel strange. So whatever's coming down through this corner, nothing's going to be able to take this, which means I think the purple does have to go out there. And so even if this isn't the blue, if this is just, as an example, something has to come through this corner, and the purple is going to be the only one that can then take that cell. And it can't, I think it's going to go all the way up. So I think that does have to be the blue. And I think that does have to be the purple. I don't know if it's going to come all the way like there, but I'm going to earmark it for this so far. I think that means the yellow would come down. Maybe something like that, with this escaping here, with this escaping here. This would come down and around, but that leaves an issue there. So something in this is not correct. If the purple comes up and over, what would take this? The blue can snake through? What could take this? Why did I say the yellow has to go down? I guess the yellow doesn't have to go down. This goes up and around. That totally blocks that in. Huh. Let me back up to something that maybe makes sense again. So if we're at the very start, let's just start again. This is where we're at. Something has to wrap around this corner, leaving the purple. I feel comfortable with this logic. This can't go right because this becomes impossible, so it's got to go up another one. It could go right here. Is this possible? Something could wrap around here. What about this cell? I don't think this cell becomes possible with this pattern. So I do think that this keeps going up, which means it definitely, that feels like a guarantee so far. If it wrapped down, it wouldn't be able to go this way, so it has to take one more. Again, if it goes down, it could go down here. But I'm not positive how to guarantee anything else from that point. This really feels like the blue has to go up, but then what else can go over here. So like from this point of view, if this goes out there and then up, right, it's going to cut everything off. So nothing can wrap around this. Nothing can wrap around this if the purple is all the way up here. Which is questionable. From the other side, the blue could go down and around. But then we end up again with a problem over here that the purple has to take this cell and this cell. There's nothing else that can take that. So that is not correct. I feel like I'm missing something clear. With what I have so far, this can't go up. If this goes up, the puzzle is broken. So I'm going to move it again and again and again. And it would then have to go all the way out here. And for it to follow that, the only other option, I mean, it could come in like this, which is possible. It leaves with a lot of issues. We would have the yellow, and then we'd have like this, right, this craziness over here that wouldn't happen, and this is totally impossible. That would leave that as the only solution to go like there. And then we're back here being this pattern just doesn't feel doable. I'm gonna clear it. I liked my initial logic, but something about it doesn't seem to be working. The purple can't take this corner. I mean, I think that is a guarantee. Because if the purple takes that corner, so something is taking this corner. Which really means, I mean, this seems solid. That has to happen. It can't go. It has to go up. I've done that a few times now. I feel comfortable with saying that's true, but where do I then miss something? This could come down, and if it came down and over, that would be illegal. So it could go over. It could come down again. It could go this way, which would lead to a legal move. So it has to go over one more. And so now it could come down and go here. It could do something like that. But the red now is, right, this is impossible. So that doesn't seem... And if it does that, right, this is illegal. So what am I missing that something is doable? If this comes through here, this would escape out like that, but this would be not valid. I guess it could escape out and up, but then this cell is invalid. Huh. Tricky. Let me then think. I'm going to focus on these two cells, right? What options do we have? This blue can come down, which would be an impossible move. So it's not going to be the blue. So the yellow and the red, in my mind, have to come through these two spaces. But see, that is not possible because if this blue needs to go through, it's got to take one of these. It's got to take one of those. So the blue either comes up, which I said with my current setup does not work, or I guess it comes up to the second one, which again, with my current setup, does not work. Something feels broken in my logic then. Let's think about this again. Something has to come through this corner. Something has to come through this corner. This cell. It's got to be the purples. I mean, the purple. And then something has to come up. And something has to come up. So these are two different colors coming through two different corners. I mean, that I think is solid logic. This has to come up and up for the purple still to escape. This has to come up. The purple could now go left and down and over, but that would connect illegally, so it's got to go up again. And then we're going to end up with this knot. This could go there. I mean, this feels close. Why didn't I see whatever I'm seeing before? No, we still have a mess over here. Because with what we have here, this is not real. And how do we get this cell? I feel like everything I did followed logic so far. And yet it doesn't feel like we've reached an answer. I guess this could, in theory, be red, which would then wrap around. This feels like it's the blue, but we're still making a mess, so I don't want to connect to that. We keep following this purple, it's going to have to come out. Then it can go either way. This would get stuck, so that would have to come down. This purple would go out. This would come out. This would come down. But then this would be stuck, so this would have to go over there. This would come that way. Something feels close. Oh my goodness. And that is the puzzle. Fascinating. I wonder where I was stuck in my thought process that I was doing that wrong. I had this corner, meaning the purple had to go up, but I then followed this all the way up to the blue and didn't consider that it could be the yellow coming over and around. That was a difficult puzzle. Took me just about, like 14 minutes? Let me know how you guys did.